You can protest all you want outside of departments of this government. You can protest all you want, but the American people disagree with you. You're protecting the bureaucracy. The bureaucracy is not a business. Those are not real jobs producing federal revenue. By the way, they're consuming taxpayer dollars. Those jobs are paid for by the American tax people who work real jobs, earn real income, pay federal taxes, and then pay these federal employees. Federal employees do not deserve their jobs. Federal employees do not deserve their paychecks. And these are jobs that can be fired at will.
The irony of these people talking about real jobs is truly unmatched.
Starting to think about maybe some of those veterans who worked for the federal government and maybe what the administration can do to at least help salvage their lives.
Well, as you know, we care about veterans tremendously. I mean, that's something the president has always cared about. Anybody in blue, anybody that serves this country. But at the same time, we have taxpayer dollars. We have a fiscal responsibility to use taxpayer dollars to pay people that actually work. That doesn't mean that we forget our veterans by any means. We are going to care for them in the right way, but perhaps they're not fit to have a job at this moment or not willing to come to work. And we can't, I wouldn't take money from you and pay somebody and say, sorry, they're not going to come to work. It's just not acceptable.
A new House bill that could expand food stamp requirements, meaning that if you're going to get food stamps in this country or SNAP, and you're able-bodied and childless and you're 18 to 65, you have to work at least 20 hours a week. Why isn't this the law?
Right. It should be the law. You know what? We have a message for those kind of folks. If you're able-bodied and you want to, milk the taxpayer, those days are over. Get off the couch, stop eating the Cheetos, stop buying the medical marijuana and watching television. You're going to actually contribute now because the American taxpayer is fed up. And as Elon Musk mentioned in that segment prior, we can't fund the federal government anymore with these kind of deficits. When we're spending more on our interest payments, almost $1 trillion than we are on our military, that should be a wake-up call that if we don't change course, we're going to lose this great republic of ours.
Do you believe that you have the right to unilaterally take money out of Social Security? Not that you will, but that you have the right.
Senator, the president's made very clear that I'm not going to touch Social Security. But and you're speaking to hypotheticals. I would say I don't think that
it's not a hypothetical if every single Michigander that I talk to is worried about you cutting their Social Security benefits, their Medicare benefits, their veterans benefits, the post office, right? I was just up in very red conservative Upper Peninsula of Michigan, right? I'm the only Democrat there.
Right.
And they are like happy, as you said. There's people who are perfectly happy with cuts that are going on, but they are desperately worried that you are going to cut their Social Security, their Medicare, their veterans benefits, and the Postal Service. And despite everyone saying they're not going to touch it, you are smarter than that and know that the big cuts that you are calling for need big chunks out of these programs.
Senator, I don't hesitate to say that I do not believe that the president can stop Social Security benefits being paid. I don't think so.
You don't think he can pull money out of Social Security, Medicare, veterans benefits?
I don't.
And the Postal Service.
And of course, the reason I say the president said he's not going to is because that's what he's consistently declared. So I don't think it's an issue. But
if you look behind the numbers and you guys are looking for $6 trillion, DOJ is looking for that. You guys have been open about it, which I appreciate. $6 trillion doesn't come from $1 million here and $1 million there. It comes from cutting big programs. And what you are saying is, despite what everyone says here, you are working for, you proudly support this idea that you can move money even though it's been appropriated for a certain reason. So I don't think any American, red, blue, purple, the whole thing, should trust that these programs that they've worked their entire life for are safe if you believe you can do anything that you want.
Well, they're just
right. And let's just be fair. You fire people and then hire them the next week. That's indiscriminate. That's acknowledging you've made a mistake. That's not some review that normal private sector companies would do. I don't know a damn private sector company that would fire someone on Friday and hire them back on Monday because, whoops, they made a mistake. But let's just be honest that this approach is scaring the crap out of people on the benefits they've worked their entire life for.
Let us understand that Medicaid provides for 2 out of every 3 seniors who live in nursing homes. A massive cut to Medicaid is a massive cut to nursing homes and the people who utilize those homes. How many seniors would be thrown out of nursing homes if the Republicans cut Medicaid by $880 billion? Nobody knows, but it would be a disaster for working families and their parents.
All of this uncertainty, it's chaos, and it inflicts real harm on seniors. But the only thing worse than that sort of incompetent chaos are the plans to legislatively make those cuts permanently, right? Which is what we've seen, targeting Meals on Wheels, targeting Medicaid, targeting the exact programs that the president unconstitutionally tried to unilaterally stop funding. So your question is incredibly important, and I can't express strongly enough the distress that this brings to Americans who've worked hard all their lives, they've followed the rules, and then when they expect the system to be there for them, like an 89-year-old relying on Meals on Wheels, they're going to get an answer from somebody that's like, oh, well, they could go get a job at Jimmy John's, right? We've heard that multiple times now in this committee, that the problem is that not enough people are going to work. This is a hearing about seniors. This is a hearing. Do you think that an 89-year-old can go get a job at Jimmy John's because their health care was taken away? No, they can't. Congress cannot steal people's benefits that they've earned because the people will stand up against that.
Well, the people that I met that were receiving these meals, not only were they elderly, they were often disabled. They're not working at Jimmy John's or anywhere else for that matter.
So the oligarchs, and right now, particularly through the Republican Party, they're doing their best to openly convince the American public that they're disposable and irrelevant and replaceable. Now, in a lot of ways, that's true because of the way that the oligarchs are consolidating power. And this is a tale as old as civilization itself. This isn't new. It's always the working class versus the powerful. But when you consolidate power into fewer and fewer hands, the public has less leverage to do anything about anything. So, and that's their whole goal. You know, they want to automate human beings. But the problem with that is if you talk about, oh, well, you're not going to get your food stamps, go get a job. It's not that simple. They know it's not that simple, but the cruelty is the point. The subjugation is the point. But another issue, though, is, if y'all go ahead and cut $880 billion from Medicaid, $280 billion from food stamps the way that they're trying to do, that's going to completely collapse the country. That's going to dismantle people's lives. Many, 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 many people will die prematurely and unnecessarily because of Project 2025, because of the Republican agenda, because Donald Trump is overseeing the most corrupt administration in American history. So y'all can do all you want to try to convince people that, oh, you're poor just because you're lazy. But at the end of the day, people know better than that.